Yeah, so last week we did kind of the feel good, mood lifter, mood booster segment. This week, which is really the yang to last week's ying, we're titling it Heavy Therapy, which I love. Tone, you came up with that. Love that name. And it's really, we're moving away from like the feel good type albums. This is an extension of that, where at the end of the day, these albums kind of put you in that same space at the end. It kind of, whether it's a release or gets you in the right headspace, but it's on the heavy side. So we each came up with, we'll probably do two apiece.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right, yeah. Twan's up. Let's go.
All right, so this band, I know you guys know them and have obviously heard them. I'll tease it. So they've been a band since the mid-'90s, New England band, and this next hint's going to give it away, but the singer has a pretty prominent podcast now.
That doesn't give it away.
Metal hardcore, hardcore roots, metal. This next one will give it away. Ozfest.
Godsmack?
Saliva?
Saliva.
Well, because Solly's got a podcast.
Oh, does he really? Hatebreed.
Hatebreed. Nice. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hatebreed. Yeah. So the album that I picked, and you could pick any Hatebreed album. Like, a lot of people think Hatebreed has a certain connotation to it. Like, racial undertones. Has nothing to do with that. 100% no. They've been criticized of that. It's nothing to do with it. But the album I picked was Perseverance, which was their major label debut on Universal. I first got into them actually before this. It was in high school. Satisfaction is the Death of Desire came out on Victory, and that album is my favorite Hatebreed record. But as far as this segment goes, Perseverance fits it to a T. Like, they have songs like Proven, Perseverance, A Call for Blood, and it is all positive. Like, it's all aggressive, but it's to get you through tough times. And Jamie Josta, like, he's kind of a punching bag in terms of like his lyrics. Like, it's all like a motivational speech. It is what it is. But yeah, this is the first band and first album that I thought of when we said we were going to do this segment. I've seen them a million times. Oh, not a million. I've probably seen them 7 or 8 times over the years. Some Portland, most in Massachusetts. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, most bands, their major label debut is like the Sellout album and blah, blah, blah. They lose their edge. Like, this was basically them on steroids. They got the major label production. I don't know who produced this album, but when you listen back to Perseverance compared to Satisfaction, it almost sounds like a different band just because of the production. Yeah. And it's probably the heaviest album. So do you guys have any memories of Hatebreed or this album specifically?
Do you have a key track or two that would kind of fit perfectly for this?
Perseverance.
Or is it like a collection?
Or Proven.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I'm spitballing here, trying to figure out what we're going to do, how I'm going to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got my hands in other things as it goes. Go ahead, Nate.
Dude, I love Jamie Jossa as a person. His podcast is actually really good. I think we were talking about it through text earlier this week about a certain guest. But yeah, man, I listened to Hatebreed quite a bit, especially when I lived in New York City. I was kind of big into the metal thing when I was in New York. I mean, New York's got a pretty sweet metal scene too. So, yeah, man, I love this band. I saw them a ton. I don't know if I got into this album in particular. I kind of just like played all their stuff kind of in playlists and mixed CDs that my buddy would burn me actually down there. He was actually in a metal band, so he would just burn me all sorts of good stuff. So this is like 07, 08. So that's when everyone's burning CDs on CDRs still. But yeah, man, Hatebreed's a great band. And it's good that I'm happy you put that out there, because every time I even say the name Hatebreed, even though I know there's no negative connotation, it's like hard not to think anyone listening, or if like my wife heard me or something, would think that I'm kind of thinking, listening to some kind of like, I don't know, band that's white supremacy or something like that. But it's just not even remotely the case. Great band, great dude. Jamie Jost is a great dude. So yeah, man, awesome band.
Yeah, and for me, I'm a metal convert, I would say, of the three of us. You guys and Nate kind of really ushered me into that, and now I'm learning more from the two of you as far as that stuff goes. But I remember one of the first things that kind of flipped the switch for me was thinking, okay, the name Hatebreed sounds bad, obviously, but it isn't. If you and especially if you go and look at lyrics, and yeah, maybe the music is heavy, but if you listen to what's being said and the message being brought forth, it's not. And they're not the only band like that in this scene. So to be so dismissive just because A, a sound, and B, a name, for me, that I am no longer that way. I may have been that way when I was younger, but you've got to evolve a little bit and maybe open your ears and open your eyes up a little bit and figure out that it's not necessarily that. So, and I think Hatebreed fits this perfectly.
Yeah, it's actually it's funny when we tease this on Instagram today. When we hashtagged heavy therapy, I looked at the hashtag and like what other posts were out there.
Yep.
The first band that came up, someone had posted Hatebreed.
Nice.
Heavy therapy. And one last thing I'll say is, for this segment, I picked a legacy band, which is Hatebreed. Been around for 25 years. My next one is more on the new end of the spectrum.
Ooh,
so
nice. All right, Twan, number 2.
Yeah, so this one, like I said, I wanted to pick a legacy band, but I also wanted to pick a more current band. And it's not like this band just came out. They've been around since 2010, I think. And I would say the casual listener probably has never heard of them, but I'm going to kind of make some comparisons, more mainstream comparisons that you would kind of connect the dots, and hopefully you'll go check them out. But the band is Incendiary. Incendiary is from Long Island, New York. Started in 2010, 2009, 2010, and they're more into that, like by genre they're a hardcore band. They have that kind of groovy New York vibe to them. But where I say I'll kind of bring them to the mainstream is the vocalist, the singer, has a Zach De La Rocha vibe going on. So I would say the music is probably heavier than people are used to with Rage, but vocally, total Rage vibe. So the album is 1,000 Mile Stare, and the song that I'll put on the playlist is Hard Truths Cut Both Ways. And vocally, it's got like, I mean, you wouldn't be convinced it's Zach, but it's got Zach vibes, and I think our listeners will definitely dig it. So when I think about, kind of dialing it back to this heavy therapy, a lot of times when I want to, get my head right or whatever, I'll work out, I'll run, just clear my head, and I listen to this album. This is my go-to album in recent years. This came out in 2017, so it's Incendiary's the band, 1,000 Mile Stairs the album. Are you guys versed with these guys at all, or?
No, I haven't heard this one.
I've heard of them, but your explanation will make me excited to delve into some of that tonight, because I'm going to need to stay up overnight again. So I'm excited to throw on some of this heavy therapy to get me through an overnight at work.
So we've talked about Zach De La Rocha's first band, Inside Out, or I don't know if it was his first band, but the band before Rage. The singer of Incendiary, Brendan, channels Zach in that Inside Out era, and that's
cool.
I love this band. Couple key tracks, Still Burning, which is the first track of the album, and then Hard Truths Cut Both Ways sounds a lot like Zach.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm excited to get into that. Are the, like, lyrically, is it similar to Hatebreed where people might think it's negative but it's actually not, or is it more like downer, like the Nine Inch Nails vibe?
It's more anti-establishment, which can get you up.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
They have a line that they repeat in one of the songs, which is very Rage. It's actually, you could convince someone it's a Rage B-side. The lyric is, "There's no hope in an unclenched fist." So use your imagination.
Makes complete sense to me. Yeah. That fits right in with stuff that we love.
I'm gonna call it, like, I'm not gonna say this is gonna be your new favorite band, but you'll dig them because it's got Rage vibes.
I trust your judgment. I got huge into Crime and Stereo now, so yeah, dude. It's funny that nerdery, even if we just did this for us three, like, I'm finding out about new stuff that I didn't know about. So.
And I knew picking them, people might not have heard of them, but if it turns anyone on to this band, then it was worth it. And it's probably the second band that came to mind when we said we were going to do this segment. So it fits all around.
Nice.
And there'll be more. I mean, we have. I have a third one written down here, but we're going to save it for another time. But yeah, that's if it's got those vibes and he's got kind of that De La Roca and Inside Out kind of, I'm all in. I'm gonna have to check that out, and I'll be excited to find my new favorite band and my new favorite workout buddy.